The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 927. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. If you're tired of being the best-kept secret in your industry, listen up. You don't need to be louder, you need to be seen. Grab my free Visible Framework Toolkit, the exact steps I use to go from overlooked to being the go-to expert people turn to for impact and insight. Download it now at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend, welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chand, and today I have a phenomenal woman on the show today. She is the founder of Joeydolls, and I'm super excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Samantha Ong. Hi, Samantha. How are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Yeah, hi there. Thank you for having me. So, yes, I'm Samantha. I reside in Toronto. I was born in Malaysia, but I grew up in Australia, and I moved to Canada as an adult, but then I recently started this company called Joeydolls. It really began during the pandemic to help children feel proud of who they are.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Samantha, what's your cultural background?
I'm actually Malaysian Chinese, and then my husband is Korean. So my kids, we're a mixed Asian family.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Your story may not have such a happy beginning, but that doesn't make you who you are. It is the rest of your story who you choose to be. That's by Michelle Yeoh.
Awesome, and such a great quote. It's so important. Sometimes we think if we have a bad beginning, everything else will be bad, not realizing we can change at any given moment. So I love this quote. And of course, Michelle Yeoh has done phenomenal things, been able to break barriers. So she's probably one of the people who had to go through that as well. So thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I really think it is knowing who you are and accepting it, as well as just being, really proud of who you are and where you've come. I think a lot of the time people are ashamed of some of the things that they've done or not done too. And just like you said, it's really up to us now to really, like, you can always change it. And it is really up to us, and that it's not based on other people's expectations. And I think that's really something that I had to learn for a long time, especially coming from Asian culture. Like, we're all about, the expectations of our parents and other people. And I'm always constantly thinking, like, what do people think? But I forget to think, like, what do I think? Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. It's such a great reminder. I know sometimes growing up in Asian culture, we've always been taught to expect other people's expectations and live by other people's expectations, and that can take a toll on us. And it's really learning to live life on our terms. I know it's easier said than done, which is why we have platforms like this to share women's stories, to realize that we all go through things and we can achieve it, and sometimes we just need to hear these stories. So thanks for sharing that great definition. And Samantha, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I definitely was a very shy, timid person. I even remember, even though I remember in high school, I was voted school captain, which is like president of the school. And I did that by like showing up one day, and I did a speech, which everyone voted for me. So you would think like, oh, I should have all this self-confidence in myself. All these people voted for me. But instead, like, I still felt like I still questioned myself a lot. And even when I went onto stage to just say this one thing, I just completely blank. I was so worried about what everybody thought. And that was just me. Like, I didn't really believe in myself and my abilities. And I was always just constantly thinking, like, don't fail, don't fail, don't fail. And then it's just like, and you do fail. So it really took me a while to really just be really confident in my skin and really know my worth beyond what everyone thinks.
Thanks for sharing that. I think that's something we can all relate to. Imposter syndrome is something most women deal with, not feeling good enough, or there's someone better out there. And then that thought of failure. We've been taught that failure is a bad thing, when in fact, it's not. It's just part of the process. It's showing you what works, what doesn't work. And I know goes from school, right? We're taught if you fail, it's a bad thing at school, but in life, failure isn't a bad thing. It's actually the stepping stone to success. And that's how a lot of people that you see in the media have achieved it. It was through many failures. And what was that point in your life when you realized you were more than enough to go out there, especially starting Joeydolls? I know it's not always easy to start something, and of course, starting a new business, a lot of thoughts in our heads, a lot of resistance, a lot of question, second guessing ourselves. I get it because I've been there. But what really made you decide to just go for it?
I think there really was this like transitional time where I worked in corporate and then I was really trying to do what I was being told to do and what I thought that I had to do. And then actually, so before I started Joeydolls, I was actually a wedding photographer. I actually quit my job to build a wedding photography business. And because I was a solopreneur and I really had to command people, like big bridal groups, like sometimes 20 people, sometimes have like massive personalities, and especially on such a fun and exciting day, sometimes people are drunk and all these things. Like I had to really step up and like really command attention and tell them what I needed them to do. And so I in that was like such a growth for me to really know that like people are going to listen to me because I'm the expert here and they've hired me to do something that they believe in me to do for them. So that meant like using my voice, commanding attention. And then I really realized that what I thought I was, like I was able to really grow myself into something that I never imagined that I could do. And then I think I really realized that I think really the superpower is realizing that you can do something that you can't. And I think that really like switched it for me. And so even when it came to the pandemic, I couldn't work anymore because of weddings were being canceled and all these things. Initially I was like, oh, what do I do? I'm nobody anymore. I can't work. And then I really realized that, well, then what can I do? What impact can I make? And like, how can I also use what I know now, and even if what I don't know, I can still learn. And also just knowing that I can make this difference has pushed me to be someone where I want to inspire others to do, to follow my lead. And especially in becoming a mom too, it's just like I want her to see, women make a difference and lead by example. And so I've had to become that example.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love that, you just decided to be the example because it's not always easy being the representation, being something that we've always wanted growing up. It can be scary at times, but if nobody else does it, who will, right? So it really has to start with us. And here you are, you just started it because you wanted to showcase, especially having kids, you want to show them what's possible. And I know Joeydolls has been doing amazing things. I've seen it everywhere in different forms of media, and it's so great to see that, especially having dolls that look like us, because that's something I never had growing up here in Toronto. And so because of that, what's your life been like now?
Yeah, it's definitely been a whirlwind. I mean, trying to do it all, especially, when you start your own business, you're doing everything and being a mom as well. And especially because we are self-funded. But it really is awesome that I get to meet so many wonderful people. I get to learn about so many different cultures because we do really take the time to learn about all the different cultures when we do try to represent all the different cultures as accurately as possible. So I really do enjoy, I have to, learn so much. But also, like, tomorrow I'm doing a pitch event. Like, I'm standing on the stage telling people why this matters to us. And even earlier this year, I actually had the opportunity to go on Dragon's Den. So something like that, like these opportunities turn up, and it's something that I never really would have considered, especially knowing my childhood and how I thought about myself. Like when I watched Dragon's Den, I was like, oh, that's so crazy that people do that. Like I would never have imagined that for myself. And when the opportunity came up, it's just like, oh, my first thought is like, no, I could never do that. And then I had to like start thinking, well, what if I do that? Like what the other opportunities that I could do? Like, can I do that? And now it's just like, wow, I did that. So yeah, it really is like I can't. Every day is something different, but I really do surprise myself about what I can do when I really push myself to like step up onto the table, especially for something that I feel that is so meaningful to me. And I know that will be for my community.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's so awesome. You made it on Dragon's Den. I know a lot of people probably applied to that just to even be featured. So even that alone is a win. And I think sometimes, we go on these things or we apply for these things, and sometimes being accepted is a huge win. And just showcasing what you have, what you've been able to work for, and knowing that, the opportunity is there. It's also important to take those opportunities, especially as women. I know sometimes we tend to hesitate a little bit because of how we see ourselves, right? We think we're not good enough. There's someone better out there. But in order for things to change, especially have more women in leadership roles in different industries, it's important to take those opportunities, even if we get rejected. It's better to take it and get rejected than to not take it at all. So thank you for forging that path, and congrats to all the success. And if a woman's listening to your episode and she's in her own journey to self-confidence, what'd be that one tip you'd give to her?
I think it also comes into your book where you talk about like trying not to wait for the perfect moment or like be perfect. And even when it came to Dragon's Den, I was like, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there to like showcase what I've done, or like, but then if I'm always busy waiting for that perfect time or moment, I will never get there. And so I think it really is to just like show up. It's just to really really believe in what you do believe in, and show that to the world, because there will be others who believe the same thing and believe in you as well.
Thanks for sharing that. And yes, I do mention in my latest book the importance of ready, fire, aim. Just start before you're ready, take action, make mistakes, and just course correct as you go, because that's how we actually get results, because that's what men do all the time. So, we won't be perfect. We won't be 110% perfect. It won't be 110% ready. Even me, when I go up on stage and do speaking engagements, I still get very anxious. I still get nervous, but I realize that it doesn't always have to be perfect, and that you being on stage is more than enough. Seeing how you are, your stories, and just showing up can be more important than you realize. And so everything else will fall into place. So thanks for sharing that great tip. And if our listeners want to get to know you and a little bit more about what you do, or check out some of your dolls, since Christmas is coming up, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, so you can just find us at joeydolls.com. That's JOEYDOLLS.com. And same as Instagram, TikTok, they're all just Joeydolls, super simple. So I hope you can find us there.
Awesome. And thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Samantha, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Samantha's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. I just really want to thank Samantha today for taking the time to share her story and tips on confidence. So thank you so much, Samantha.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. It was awesome having you on the show today. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. You can now purchase Bridging the Confidence Gap: How Empowered Women Change the World on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Indigo, and other book retailers sold worldwide. Get your copy today. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to get your daily boost of confidence.